Is the stream back? I think the stream is back. I had some technical difficulties, but I'm not ending the stream. We should be continuing. I think that was just like an internet blip. But it says we're on. If you guys just verify that someone out there can hear me, and I'm gonna keep talking. Yeah, that just kind of happened randomly, but it seems to be back to being normal. But yeah, I filled in a pretty decent little chunk of this, considering that I started like underneath these guys. So I'm just gonna keep working in this direction now. We flameo. We good. Thank you. Thank you, Frosty Bulldog. I appreciate your reference. Flameo, good sir. Oh man, Avatar is another one of the fandoms that's just like super close to my heart. I feel like I could be cosplaying from Avatar long after it's no longer like culturally relevant or whatever, and I would still be having a blast. Oh my gosh, because my stream went offline and reset itself, it like reset my timer, so now it's telling me that I've only been live for a minute and a half and I have 0 viewers. Womp womp. That's okay. I'm glad that it's not really true. Thank you guys for sticking it out. Oh, nice. Mooring away. I'm so glad to have more people here showing up for art stream. Welcome to our crafting group where we make wholesome foresty crafts all the time. And there's a Discord too, so if you're looking for... Well, first of all, I'm doing regular streams now, and we have a community where everyone is encouraged to share their work on Discord. So, you are in the right spot. And you can always share whatever you're knitting with us on our Discord so that we can appreciate it as well. You're making something for embroidery? Oh, uncreative automaton. Make something like this. Hold up. Well, I mean, this is just my design of, but it's again, it's like a common style. Like, I didn't necessarily come up with this on the blue out of my own, but this is just a ton of French knots that I've created a, like, mossy texture, and I'm gonna keep it going. I want to add more down here and then probably some beads. So this will be another potential stream craft, but I'm going to be just adding a bunch more texture and building up the design. So yeah, there's an idea for something that you can embroider. Yeah, that's another one of my... So these type of forest crafts, I would love to sell these. Where did I just set it down? Behind me or over here? I would love to make more of these and then eventually sell them. They do take a lot of time, similar to a forest rug. Actually, I think I made this in just like 2 or 3 days. I wasn't working the whole time, obviously, but like 2 or 3 different like long sessions. So I don't know, I could potentially, I'll have to decide on a price to make it worth my time, but this is the type of thing I would love to start offering in forest girl clothing, where it's like some kind of unique handmade art that has that sort of like organic forest texture. And I'm just gonna keep making stuff along these lines because this is what I really enjoy the most, I think. Oh, okay, so uncreative automaton. I didn't know how to make French knots at all before I started that project, and then I looked up a tutorial for how to do a perfect French knot. And there is a system. You have to have your needle pointed up when you do the wraps, and then you turn it over and shove it down. Look that up on YouTube. Look up like perfect French knot, and I watched a tutorial that literally shows you how to hold your crochet needle or your crochet hook or not, your sewing needle, I'm talking about a different craft that I'm doing. You hold your sewing needle in a certain way and it like happens perfectly every time. And that was like a lifesaver when I found that tutorial, because I would not have been able to do that little embroidery art without the French knots. And yeah, they are not as hard as you think. There's just a trick to it. And that's something I can demonstrate if I'm actually embroidering, but it's also something you can find on YouTube, because that's where I learned it. Salem Kitty, pick it up. Embroidering is so fun because it's just like drawing with thread. So if you have any sort of like artistic background and you understand the principles of putting an image onto a 2D plane, it's just another interesting medium for how you can make that happen. And I get that it would be kind of like potentially frustrating if you don't already have like a feel for stitching and threading a needle and placing your needle very specifically and trying to get it, because embroidery does require like a detailed hand or a detailed eye and then attention to maintaining it. But I mean, I guess that's true with whatever your other mediums are too, whether you're drawing with a pencil or a pen or charcoal or whatever it is. You just have to find how to make it work for you. Anyway, embroidery is another really cool medium for making beautiful designs, so do it, do it, do it. I'm getting so much extra stuff over here now. Oh, I'm glad that Streamlabs knows that I haven't actually quit the stream, so it's still showing the most recent stuff. Even though my time got reset, that's okay. Oh, something called the colonial knot in embroidery? I've not heard of that one, and I will have to look it up. Thanks for the recommendation. It's like putting a little finger eight on the needle and does it tangles easily? I'm going to definitely check that out. What happened with the stream? Yeah, that was just like a random stream glitch. I think it might have been my internet on my side, but whatever happened, it happened for everyone simultaneously, including me. So sorry about that. I just like waited a minute and then it all popped back up, so. Luckily we are still good to go. I don't know why it tried to quit on me though. You've considered getting into cross stitch, says Gallasprout. I used to sew a bit, but life got to me and I haven't been creative in a while. I totally understand that. I've been through some periods myself like that. And getting out of that funk and getting back to creating like just literally anything was getting back to creating literally anything was what helped get me out of that funk for sure. So I would highly encourage you to do something creative for yourself, no matter what it is. I just strongly believe that it contributes to a sense of, for me it's anxiety relief, but it also makes me feel like I'm adding something to the world, you know, however small, however trivial it may seem, especially to other people. It gives me a sense of productiveness that I feel satisfied in, so I think that it's can be a very healthy outlet for anybody, regardless of what your skills are. Even if you feel like, oh, I'm not an artist, that doesn't mean anything. Everyone in the world can make art, and should if you enjoy it. You should don't let yourself be held back by fear or feeling like it's not for you, because art is for everyone. Yeah, so when I was in theater, in college theater, my degree is in theatrical technology and design, So I studied all different aspects of what goes into making theater backstage, is an easy way to describe it. So when I was in school for that, I basically was in these design classes with people who had not necessarily had a background in art. Like, they were there because they wanted to design sound or design lighting or do even like set construction, but they didn't necessarily have a background in like drawing and painting. And so I was in classes with all these people where our assignments were based around creating art and doing renderings and doing sketches and designs and drawing. And for a lot of my fellow students, they didn't have any sort of like artistic education. And there were a lot of people that like very openly expressed feeling uncomfortable or feeling like they weren't talented or that they weren't artists or whatever. But throughout the semesters, as time went on, I saw like real impressive progress from people who did not consider themselves to be like artists, who were developing artistic abilities that genuinely impressed me, and the difference that, you know, time and practice made for these people, even if they didn't consider themselves to be artists. And so that was a huge lesson for me as someone who did have a background in art, who went in already feeling comfortable and able to sketch and share and stuff. That was a big lesson for me, is that talent is not required. You don't have to like be born into having this miraculous skill that enables you to learn how to do art when other people can't. That's not really like that. I think that our society glorifies talent, and especially in children makes them feel like, oh, you're special because you can already do this. When in reality, I think that art is something that enriches everyone's lives. It's something that everyone can do at whatever skill set they're already at. You don't need to be good enough to start making art. You can make art at level 0 with no experience points. And I want to keep encouraging people to do that, because I watched art transform the lives of people who didn't like necessarily view themselves as artists in the beginning, and then we're ending up creating beautiful designs and being able to render it and talk about it expertly. And so I have a lot of faith in people's abilities to learn things that are out of their comfort zone and that are maybe outside of what they imagined for themselves. And I believe really strongly in that. So thanks for listening to my TED Talk about how everyone in the world needs to make art. And it won't fix your life. I can certainly tell you that from personal experience. But it does make all of the terrible things in life a little bit easier to cope with. So I'm still here making a forest rug on twitch.tv. So thank you for joining me. You knew I was a techie, says Cutest Corgi. How'd you know? You could just tell I had that techie background. Eclipse27 says, when I'm in a funk, I try to start with a small project, more manageable, and keeps me from getting burnt out too fast. I totally agree. I definitely do the same thing. I shared an image, it was just like a text post that I saw floating around on Facebook. I shared that on Discord last night, where it was basically someone being like, when your existential dread starts to feel overwhelming, do some knitting to calm yourself down. And the funny way it was phrased was like, it's hard to believe that you've made a difference in the world sometimes, but it's pretty easy to believe that you made a sock. And that really stuck with me. I was just like, yeah, I don't have control over the world or my situation. I don't have control over all of these things that scare me, but I can make a sock. Well, actually, technically, I mean, I could figure out how to make a sock. I've never personally made a sock, but I could. And I believe that you can too. Make your socks. Red Robin is gonna go be productive. Alright, enjoy your productivity. I believe in you that you can make a difference in your household today. Oh, thanks, cutest corgi. I appreciate that. I need to put some more of this super bright green in. Yeah, I'm sure this forest rug is going to be a long-term ongoing project. I'm not going to work on it every stream because I feel like that would get boring. Maybe I'll come up with like a weekly rotation. But I still want to get going on the fairy houses. I actually have a lot of fairy house ideas and plans. And I also want to do a more regular knitting night where I have like, well, for me it will still probably be crochet, but knitting night is such a good term because it's like a alliteration. Alright, have a good time, Link fan. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope that we'll see you again in some future chats. That's awesome. Uncreative Automaton is talking about volunteering their time at a makerspace and to cheer people on when they're doing their projects. It's something I wish someone would have done for me when I was younger. That's amazing. That's a really great attitude to have, and yes, that sounds like a really cool thing. I think that maybe I should look into joining a makerspace because that would be a place that I could find friends for sure. I don't have any 3D printing materials, or I don't own a laser cutter, which would also be another really cool tool to get access to through a makerspace. So I have a lot of nice tools that I've collected over the years, thankfully, but those are some that I don't have. So I guess if I came up with a project that would require that stuff, I could join a makerspace and then make friends at the makerspace. That could be fun. I'll keep that in mind. Aw, heck yes. That's, those are some really great tools. CNC machines are awesome. They're really complicated and intimidate me, but they can do really cool things. Yeah, that would probably be a good option for me. So thanks for that idea. I'm sort of just like gleaning ideas from the chat now. That's okay. So in my time zone, it's not quite 4 p.m. That's not bad. I've spent a good chunk of my day here already. If you can work a laser cutter, you can work a CNC machine. I suppose so. I guess it's more about setting up all of my project files to make sure that I'm doing the right thing and then let the robot do its job. What was I talking about? Oh, I wanted to switch over to doing some fairy house work as well as a regular knitting night stream where it would just be like chilling and with my crochet out and making some I don't know what, some whatevers. Maybe I'll find a way to crochet a little plant. Oh, you know what? That would be fun. If anybody here in the chat has like links to tutorials for like crocheting little plants or something, I think that would be a really fun group project. Not that anybody has to participate, but That would be the sort of thing to, I think, spur on more participants in Discord or something. So I might try to crochet a little planty guy and put him on this rug. If anybody has designs or ideas for that, please feel free to share, because there's a lot of stuff out like that that's already floating around on the internet. Tiny plant crochet, heck yes. Yeah, I've seen some like kits and finished ones, but I have yet to find like a really solid pattern that I feel like following for myself. So, you know, one thing at a time. Oh, Chickadee Days, you're almost finished with your scarf / your yarn scheme. You're part of the Discord, right? I'm pretty sure you are, because I would love to see your finished scarf as you wrap it up. I think Aries finally got fed up and actually left. Yeah, he's not down here right now, so I think he hit his limit of like, oh, my mom's really not going to pay attention to me right now. Okay. And then went and entertained himself elsewhere. I'm serious about giving Aries his own stool. I'm going to put that on my to-do list for the stream so that he can walk up to the counter. Although that's really just going to encourage him to walk all over my work surface, but I'll have to corral him as always. We'll make it happen. Oh yeah, I've almost got it, working my way up to another straight line over here. I'm intentionally having like rounded corners here, and this is basically going to be the edge. I might continue it a little bit further out, but it is going to continue in a, it's going to be an organic shape rather than like an actual rectangle. So I'm just going to keep picking the fluff off of everything. How long does a project like this take? Asks Eldara Rose. A long time. This is several days of non-stop work. I didn't time myself on this. This is my second stream working on it. And in this stream I've done like this much over here plus probably this much over here over the past like 3 hours or so. So that's how far. Okay, cool, you saw Twitter pictures. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming and checking it out. It's been a lot of fun to work on. I am always enjoying it. Here's the last of my like yellowy grass ones. Salem Kitty says, a heating pad inside a cat bed that I can switch on and off nearby. Would it be a good enough reason for him to stay? That's a good question. I've never actually given him a heating pad, and the only cat beds I ever bought for him he ignored. But I do think that I can rig a platform that he'll be willing to lay on if it's right next to me all the time. I think you're onto something. I just have to figure out how to make it personally work for Aries because he's kind of picky. But yes, I think that's a good idea. I'm going to get him some sort of stool that he can sit on that's his size, that he can potentially like walk up a step or two so that he doesn't have to jump. But yeah, I love how he's just a character in these streams. Whether I want him to be or not, he's here for good and he's here for the party. Could an electric blanket work for that? Potentially, but that would be really big. Well, I mean, I don't know. Yes, that's another solution. That's another potential solution. I just have to look around and see like what's gonna suit my needs, my size. Are these crafts my job? I talked about that a little bit earlier. I am going to be streaming quite a bit more in general, and I'm going to be working on more crafts that are for sale. And so, in that sense, like, yes, although I'm still in the process of getting things set up to be more stable, more lucrative over time. Seattle Cosplay is heading home. Thank you for joining us on the stream. And yes, I just saw your email when I took a little break, so I'll take a closer look at that after my stream ends and get back to you. But thank you for inviting me to that stuff. Yeah, I'm currently doing this full-time for now, but that's not... I'm sort of in a transition period in life, and so I guess that's a better way of describing it, in that I would like to continue making art full-time, but where and for who and what is probably going to change. Because, you know, gotta go to where the money is, so... I pretty much have devoted my life to the pursuit of mastering different art forms, and so I don't see myself changing that goal at all. It's just that being a full-time crafter on Twitch is not very viable right now, or at least not. I mean, I think that making things that I'm also selling is probably a better route to go, so that's what I'm up to. That's my plans for now. I considered doing commissions, but honestly, working directly with clients is so hard, and everybody that I know that takes commissions struggles with clients specifically. And so again, when I'm in this period of recovery, it was like something that I didn't want to bite off more than I could chew and end up letting someone else down on a deadline if I wasn't truly able to deliver in a certain amount of time. So I would still potentially consider commissions as a way of as a form of income, but I think that I would have to be pretty particular about what type of commissions I take, and I don't know how viable that would be overall. So these are all things that I've like thought about and considered, but exactly how to implement it in a way that works for me is something I'm still figuring out. I'm not like quitting cosplay or anything, I just haven't been doing it recently, and I don't have convention plans lined up as much as I used to. I do have at least one con coming up this year that I've been in talks with them, and they're going to announce that soon, so I'll be able to talk more about it publicly soon. But yeah, for that event I will make at least 2 new costumes this year, so I've got that stuff. Will probably be like streaming stuff, so that I can share that with you all and do more in the cosplay community. Some cats react differently to guests than the owner. Is Aries like that? For sure. Aries is like super clingy to me. My dad visited a couple weeks ago and commented on it and how Aries just follows me around all day. He's not nearly as fond as guests, but for the most part, people that I have over are people that he already knows, because I'm pretty private, especially now. So most of the people who enter my house are like my family members, or long-term old friends that he's familiar with. And so, back when there was a more steady stream of less familiar people coming through the house, Aries was really freaked out by that, but we don't really have that problem anymore. Al and Alice asks, do I make money through being at cons, or is it like yourself the being at cons, or is like yourself the cosplay? I have a friend who makes cosplay and wins a lot of contests. Oh, so it varies a lot. For myself, right now, the only conventions that I have planned coming up are ones where I am appearing as a guest. And in those circumstances, I have work obligations to the con. So, some people go to cons for fun, and some people go to cons to work. And so, I've done both, but as for right now, in my future moving forward, I will probably just be at cons where I'm working, because cons are expensive and I don't have a ton of money to spend on frivolous things anymore. So, I won't be attending as many cons as an attendee just for fun. The one that I have planned for 2020, 2020, it sounds weird to say it that way, sorry. The one that I have coming up this year is one where I will be working, and I will be paid for that work appearance, basically. I have to make a certain amount of new costumes. I have to do a certain amount of promotion for the event. I have to do panels at the event as well as judging a contest. So for those things, I am reimbursed for the work that I'm doing at this particular con, but just going to cons in general is expensive. It's not, basically, if I'm not working it, I'm not going to be there for the foreseeable future. So that's kind of where I'm at now. But working cons it's fun in its own way. It is work, and you can't go to the con and get trashed and party all the time. But it's the type of work that I enjoy, so it's like, yeah, I'll be in a costume and I'll be interacting with people, and I'll maybe be running a booth at the convention. At this one, I should have a booth with prints and stuff. And giving panels where I talk about how to craft things. So basically doing educational talks, judging the cosplay contest, and being present, advertising the event. All of that is what makes it a job in that sense of, working for the weekend. Any games I'm looking forward to? Breath of the Wild 2. It's interesting to hear about the other side of conventions like that, says Space Frostbite. It's interesting to transition from going solely as an attendee to gradually getting involved in whatever capacity on like the back end of things. Because there is a lot that goes into conventions that you don't have to think about when you're just attending. And then eventually, the more involved you get, the more layers of like complexity there are. Yeah, I've been involved in a bunch of different conventions over the years. I've just been less active in general, and I haven't been like seeking any particular opportunities. So that's not some place that I'm not necessarily going to put a ton of effort into trying to keep going to conventions. I think that I'll definitely take whatever opportunities appear in general. But actively trying to appear at every convention, or even the same ones that I used to go to, is no longer a priority for me. I guess that's just a better way of saying it. And costuming in general, it's like, well, if it's gonna be my job for the weekend, then heck yes, I'll put time into making something new for that. But overall, I need to be focusing on shop crafts and streaming, and just overall getting back to being more consistent creator, which I've already made really big strides for that, and I am excited about the progress that I've made. Yeah, I'm not sure what the naming scheme they're going to go with for the Breath of the Wild sequel, whether it's just Breath of the Wild 2 or if it has probably some sort of like subtitle, but we'll see. I think Zelda from Breath of the Wild 2 with the short hair would be a really great cosplay, because I always want to make more Zeldas, and the short hair version just seems so much more manageable. Alright, I've cornered off, or squared off this corner now. How much more has my thing stretched quite a bit. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna keep working on this area and try to get it to be like more even with this other one, I guess. I guess that's what the point of the blue outline is, so that you can easily see the rows. That's nice. I've like never made a rug big enough for that to matter, so I'm still like figuring out how the materials are designed to work. Hit it within one tiger, aka above average Adrienne. Did I say that right? Yeah, I think so. Welcome back. Another one of our community members. It's been around since pretty much the beginning. Thank you. I'm so glad that you found me again in this stream that's been going for a while now. But yes, I'm back to streaming. I'm starting to do it more regularly. I'm starting to get more momentum, and I'm feeling good about it. So thanks for joining us and catching up again. I feel like even just like the last few streaming sessions have been very wholesome and very good for me. Yeah. I'm always like petting this. This is another really cool way to make your own like fake fur if you need a really specific color blend. Is either using yarn and brushing it out, or using other types of fiber like Kanekalon fiber, which is used for like wigs and hair braiding. It's like cheap filler fiber, basically, that you would use to give volume to things or to braid into your hair. So yeah, you can use the same type of principle to just, sort of like with the Wookiee suits that I was talking about, if anybody was here earlier for that, where you basically are just adding your own fiber to a mat or to a mesh grid, whether it's like fabric or this type of stiffer rug canvas. And then you can blend your own colors and add fiber to it, and depending on the length of those fibers can make all kinds of cool things. It would be furry or fluffy. Yeah, you can brush out the yarn to separate the fibers and make it soft and fluffy. AJ Rich, hey, thank you. I'm glad that you've, we're happy to have lurkers. Thanks for the bits, and I'm glad that you get enjoyment from lurking in the background while you're doing productive stuff. Yes, Hipster on the Roof says that's how you make doll hair and doll wigs, called a yank. I did not know that term, but yes, it's the same kind of... This is also the same principle. It's the same motion that goes into hair knotting, or like ventilating a wig, where you're attaching hair to a lace hairline. You're using much longer hair and a much tinier needle, but it's the same principle. It's the same concepts that are going into... You hook the mesh with your hook, you set the fiber on, you pull it through, and you tie a knot using the tool. And so this is a much larger version of what happens in wig making. But you could take that same principle to customize wig hairlines, which I'm sure I need to do that for my Princess Bean cosplay that we were just talking about the other day. I started Princess Bean like over a year ago, and I bought all the wig materials, but I haven't done the actual wig ventilating yet because it takes so much time. So maybe that will end up on my stream too. Yeah, I love crafting streams. I also lurk in a lot of crafting streams. I wish that the community were a little bit stronger here on Twitch, but hey, be the change you want to see, right? I mean, I love this community. And hopefully people will continue to find us. Above average, Adrienne. Thank you for the bits. I appreciate that. Yeah, this radio station is legit. That radio cut man always gets me in the mood to craft, work on cool creative things. Ho, I'm quaking. I love your name. One of my favorite Vocaloid songs, I don't know if you're asking me or the chat. I don't have enough knowledge of Vocaloid songs to say that I have a particular favorite. But when I hear them on Radio Catman or whatever, they're fun. I enjoy them. Yeah, I browse through a lot of Twitch creative channels now, and I'm going to keep going and start watching more and lurking in other streamers' chats more often now so that I can get ideas for what I like to see and what seems to be working for people. But I'm definitely way more motivated this time around to, like, I guess be more active in improving my Twitch. Because before I had help and I was maybe a little bit too lazy in relying on that. But now that I do everything for myself, it's like, well, I have to truly understand how this works and what's going on with it. And so that's actually been really good for me, is to take more responsibility for everything, including my own Twitch presence. So, it's been good. Just always updating my graphics and descriptions and making alerts and stuff. Yeah, so I'm going to start doing custom alerts and things like that. And soon we'll have the emotes that we deserve, and we can chat about King Aries with a little picture of him or whatever. Oh my gosh, this side has grown so much since I started, because before it was like under here, so I've gotten a good several inch area here. Several square inches. It goes so slowly, but it's still worth it. Yeah, Cutman gets his name from the Mega Man series. I mean, DJ Cutman took his name from the Mega Man series, so that's very much intentional that he's like Mega Man themed, but it's also like his own. He's made the character his own. You know, he has like his own costume and stuff for it. It's cute. Yeah, everything is going at a snail's pace, but you know what? I'm proud of it. I think it's looking good. Is that a latte? It's just coffee with milk in it, but I wish it were a latte. I love lattes. Maybe I'll go get one after I finish my stream, because I have not done that at all today. I can go reward myself with some coffee. More coffee after I finish my stream. Probably won't do that. I think I missed my chance by not getting any this morning. Hi there, Pixel Armada. Nice to see you here. Oh, tornado warning? Good luck with that, Salem Kitty. You're in my thoughts. I'm sure you'll be safe, because you're a native Texan, or maybe not native, I don't know, but you're a veteran Texan, so good luck with that. Stay safe. And I hope that I hear from you after the tornado has passed. Let me know that you're good later. Yeah, Um, tornadoes, usually, I thought tornadoes are typically in the summer, but I guess any time of intense weather change can generate a tornado. I'm from Texas, so I also grew up with tornado warnings being like a regular thing, where, you know, each part of the country has its own kind of weather quirks, and if you live in North Texas, you just understand that you're going to see tornadoes. And so, as natural disasters go, they tend to be a little bit less frequent and less damaging than some other things, like less than, say, earthquakes. Which happen a lot more frequently on the West Coast, but I don't know. I never dealt with any serious tornado damage during the time that I lived in Texas, but then just in the past year, a huge tornado ripped through and destroyed like all of the fabric shops that I used to shop at in North Texas, in the Dallas area. So that was a huge bummer that all of my Dallas friends were talking about and crying about, and I also felt extremely sad, even though I don't live there anymore, just because that was a huge resource that got like wiped out. The Dallas fabric district was just like destroyed. But on a better note, that doesn't happen very often, and even when tornadoes come through, it's rare for them to touch down. So, as native Texans will tell you, tornadoes are not typically a big problem until they are, you know, until that one that touches down and destroys the whole fabric district. But on the plus side, I feel like my friend is probably gonna be safe. Oh yeah, welcome to your new iced coffee addiction. I am also addicted to coffee. You know what? Of all of the drugs, I feel like that's the mildest one, is to nurse your caffeine addiction. The whole country enables it, so you'll probably be okay. What time are we at? Oh, it's only 4:15. That's not bad. It's amazing that it took Breath of the Wild for Link to get a jump button. No kidding! That was a nice welcome addition, at least in my opinion. So yeah, I've been enjoying my rug making streams. I'm not gonna do this like all the time because I want to get some other types of crafts in here. Maybe I'll do a couple more while I'm on a roll, but maybe not. I don't want to be limited. I want to start showing a whole variety of crafts, so we'll see. I'm gonna keep up. So far I've done pretty well with consistently streaming. Hey, it's my third one of the week. Not bad, not bad. But I want to keep doing more daytime streams. More daytime streams and try to just be as consistent as possible. A few hours here and there each day if I can. Show off a little bit of what I've got going on and hopefully make some really positive progress towards all of these different things that I've been working on for a while. Do I have any cosplays on the horizon? Is above average, Adrienne is asking. I do, for sure. As far as specific ones, I'm not entirely certain. But I was talking a little bit earlier about how I have a convention planned for this year where I have to make at least 2 new costumes for that. And so costumes that I have that are sort of like on my radar as potential ones I would make would be Breath of the Wild 2 Zelda with her short hair, because that seems comfy and fun. And then also Saria from Ocarina of Time is another one that's been on my to-do list for a really long time. And she's also supposed to be like a kid, which I'm obviously not. I'm past that boat. But I feel like, you know, I should probably, if I want to cosplay that, I should probably cosplay it before I get too much older. We'll see. You know, you can cosplay anything at any age, but trying to look good here. Yeah, mostly just like, I'm just trying to do more elf things all the time. It's like, can I be some sort of like elf or Hylian? Because I'll do that. So yeah, elves. I want to do more original elf characters this year too. Oh, we have a whole channel dedicated to that in our Discord. There's like a Fae OCs channel where the whole point is that you show off yourself dressed as some sort of like fantasy character. So it could be your D&D character, it could be a Renaissance costume, like Renaissance fair costume. It could be you in a flower crown hanging out in your backyard. Like, it doesn't have to be fancy or like something that you put tons and tons of work into. It doesn't have to be a professionally made cosplay. But if anybody has like their own, you know, here's me as an elf kind of images, please do share that in our Discord, because we have a whole channel for chatting about how we like to dress up as elves. Who was the character? Saria and Zelda were the two that I was talking about. Saria being from Ocarina of Time, or Saria, some people pronounce it that way. As well as Zelda. They're not quite elves, obviously, but that Hylian look, I think Hylians count. They're close enough. Just go with it. Who doesn't want to be elvish? You are right. I think we all want to be elves. I want to be elves anyway. Nintendo fan forever? Yeah, just go for it. I mean, there's no wrong way to cosplay, so if you're interested in cosplaying but you're like, I don't know what to do, just go to a con, put on some elf ears, get yourself a eBay costume of whatever My Hero Academia character you want to be. I mean, like, there's really no limit to having to do things a certain way, or, you know, you don't have to be a crafts person, especially not these days. I keep pulling my yarn all the way through. Especially these days, cosplay is so much more accessible than it was even a few years ago. You can commission, you can buy like pre-made stuff done by full companies, you can buy used costumes from other cosplayers, or you can make your own, because the world is full of tutorials and lots of interesting information. Curry fried rice, yes, it has grown so much. We are making a much bigger forest rug. You've always thought of yourself as dwarf material, says Bob the Samurai. Go for it. Get yourself a, well, if you don't already have a beard, you can get a big old fake beard and wear that. I'm really vibing with this song. What is this? This is Sacred Beasts by Mikkel. Yeah, no problem, Nintendo fan. Sort of like with art, I feel like art should be made by everyone, regardless of, you know, like, everybody can make art. Whatever you're interested in, or whatever your skill level might be, there's room for you as a creator in this world. And so I also feel that way about cosplay, or whatever kind of hobby you want to get into. I think it gets more intimidating to start over time as the internet just fills with other people who are also doing that sort of thing, and to some degree everybody wants attention for it. And so that can be discouraging, or it can feel like, you know, it's a club that you're not a part of, that you don't know how to get in. But it shouldn't be that way, because anybody can do this. You just put on a costume and show up to a con. You don't even have to show up to a con anymore. You can take your little pictures and put them on Instagram and connect with people that way. But yeah, I definitely believe that everybody can and should cosplay if they would like to, if they would enjoy it. And so don't be held back by feeling like you don't look a certain way, or that you don't look like the character, or that you don't have enough artistic background. Like, who cares? People who argue over that have the wrong priorities to start with. Hi there, Nice Link 81. Welcome. Yeah, I wonder how much surface area I can cover in grass today. Guess it just depends on how long I keep this up. Oh, you on the Zelda Hub? Oh, awesome! I love the Zelda Hub. You guys are great and have really good posts in general. I appreciate the feature for the Zelda cosplay. Zelda is my jam. We were just talking about new Zelda costumes that I want to make, including Breath of the Wild 2 Zelda, as well as Saria from Ocarina of Time, which I feel like would be a relatively quick project to knock out in terms of creating. So those are potential outfits that are on the horizon. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep making cool elf stuff. Yeah, I have like an elf crown partially sitting right here. Maybe I'll show that off since we're talking about it. Since I mentioned it, now I have to. Hold up. Here's my part of an elf crown that I was working on. It hasn't been fully finished. I want to like just fill it out some more. But this is I'm going to swap the views again. My crown, which is made out of like a wreath with various woodland ornamentation sticking up from there. So I've got like some fake berries as well as pine cones and those kinds of things. And then I don't know, I think it's cute. I think it will be cute when it's all finished out. Very woodlandy. This is another, I've made a slightly smaller one. It was a similar version. So yeah, is this the kind of thing you guys would like to watch on stream? It's not a specific costume, so it's not so much like, oh, I'm making Zelda or whatever, but it's still something that I think is easy to appreciate, maybe? Or it's just like, okay, here's my elf costume piece that I'm working on today. Hope you like it. Yeah, it is still hanging out. I guess for a lot of people, it's not really about the specific content so much as gathering together to create and chat. So, cool. That's on my to-do list. That's something I can work on these streams. Oh, my top is cute? Thank you. It's like upcycled. I didn't create it from scratch. Most of it that you see is the original part, but I updated it and changed the buttons and stuff. I think streaming how you build a costume would be really fun to watch, says Space Frostbite, and also great for those trying to figure out where to start and make their own costumes. For sure. There's a lot of great cosplay streamers on Twitch. So, it's something that I've certainly thought about. And I used to do quite a few more cosplay-oriented streams. So, like, on my YouTube channel, that stuff is all archived, where you can check out me making Zelda's winter outfit and things like that, where I did stream quite a bit of the creation process. But we'll see. It just depends on what I prioritize next. I guess little elf crowns and things would also be a great item to sell on Forest Girl clothing. So yeah, that one would definitely make the cut as like something I could design and sell on my store. And if you're watching this, please do me a favor and check out my store, which is linked in the info section below the video. I sell handmade items as well as recycled and like curated clothing that's all in the Mori K / Forest Girl kind of style. And I'm hoping to continue expanding that with a lot more unique, one-of-a-kind handmade designs, and that stuff will also be happening on the stream. Maybe I'll do like a crocheted necklace tonight or something like that. Or not tonight, but like whenever I do my knitting streams. Legit make them out of paper birch, and that would be sell big during the wedding season. I'm not sure exactly. I can't quite visualize what you're talking about, but I'm intrigued. So if you have a photo of what you're talking about, you should post it in the Discord and just let me see it. Dang, okay, well my Streamlabs did not fully restart, so it says I've been live for 4 hours, which is pretty good considering that I always struggled with long-term streams, and I'm still going right now. Yeah, white birch trees I understand. I guess I'm just curious what you had in mind with a paper crown. But that sort of style is very popular, and I bet you could find a cool way of making it into a crown. I just don't know how sturdy it would be, but you know, it doesn't always have to last forever. Yeah, I'm starting to feel like I might need to go find myself dinner. I also have to fix my, what do you call it? The food disposal in the sink that grinds. Mine is not grinding. And so I have to do some more troubleshooting on that. I did some basic troubleshooting already and probably have to just call a repair person. But I'm going to try it first because, you know, always got to try it. So that's my unfortunate task to do this evening after I get off my stream. That's okay. But yeah, I think making dinner is going to be my next course of action because I did pass that 4-hour mark. Good for me. Congratulations, Heidi, for streaming for 4 hours. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you guys for watching me stream for 4 hours or for however long you stuck around for. I'm gonna keep trying to do streams like as often as possible. If I can stream even just a little bit every day, I would love to get into the habit of that, and so I'm gonna try. We'll see. We'll see. I'll try to get on tomorrow if I can. And I'm gonna start preparing a list of other crafts to do, including forest crown, fairy houses, some type of like regular knitting stream where we're all hanging out and knitting together. But anyway, non-binary alien says stream was helpful to have on the background while doing otherwise gloomy dissertation research. Well, I'm glad that we could keep you company and cheer you on a little bit. Thank you guys for coming to my stream and even putting up with some technical difficulties. And I will be back soon with more forest crafts for you all. So don't forget to check out the Discord and post whatever cool things you're working on in there so that we can all see it and share together. And otherwise, I will talk to you next time. Bye!